Hotel Thoroughbred. We at the Bluegrass Trust are thrilled to be here in Bourbon County at this wonderful adaptive reuse site that Chris has done so painstakingly along with our friend Hadlin Argo. I just wanted to say thank you all. If you haven't been to a Bluegrass Trust deTour before, welcome, and I hope to see you at our next one. And then Chris, I'll turn it over to you to take it from here.
Well, thank you. Welcome. We're glad you're here. This project was a true labor of love for three of us, three couples. So me and my husband Andy, who's making dinner at our historic home right up here around the corner, so he's invite. Jan and Joel Monsivice. Jan's behind the bar there. If you got a drink today, from Jan and Joel. And then my parents, and then my parents, Debbie and Daryl, and Mom's back there, and Dad's, I think, picking up trash on Main Street. We've been renovating, my family and I, we have been renovating historic properties in Paris for probably, what, Mom, 12 years? So this is our 7th historic renovation. If you've ever been to Trackside Restaurant near Claiborne Farm, that was one of our projects. We don't own the restaurant, but we own the building, and we redid that. We did the Rob Neal building up the street with Jan and Joel and Bobby Shiflett, who's back there. By the way, if you've never been to his amazing art gallery on Main Street, it is one block up, and you will see his photos when we go on the tour today. But us and Bobby and his wife Kathy and Jan and Joe, we purchased the Vardens building across the street and renovated that. It's an old pharmacy. It's now a gift shop called Paddock to Post, which is an equine gift shop, and then we have apartments above. So we've been doing historic renovation projects. And 4 years ago, was that when it was, Bobby? 3 years ago, we came together as a small group, me, Bobby, my parents, 4 years in July. We came together because my family and I, we purchased the Baldwin building across the street, which was an old hotel. And it had been vacant for basically 30 years. And we renovated that into 6 apartments, and retail on the first floor. So there's a flower shop in there now, and a Dusty Rose antique store, which you should stop and shop at. When we were doing that building, there was a vacant lot next to it. And it was a small park called Hope Park. It was really sort of overgrown. It was beloved by the community because the Christmas tree would go there every year. And it was called Hope Park. And we thought, what if we could take that park and create something really special for Paris that celebrates our equine culture? And so if you look today across the street, you will see Secretariat Park. And that is a park that we built as a nonprofit. We envisioned the park, raised $800,000, and built the park in 18 months. 18 months. And, our most famous citizen is a dead horse. But the legacy that he left in this community, and we knew that park would be successful, but when we opened that park, I'll never forget, we were over there on opening day. We had Penny Chenery, who owned Secretariat. We had Donna Brothers from NBC. We had the Hancock family, of course, from Claiborne Farm. Had this beautiful ceremony. And I looked across the street, and Jan was standing next to me, and I said, we've got to buy that building and turn it into a boutique hotel, speaking of this building. And that was the vision I had about 8 years ago. Because Dad and I, we like to find how many of you all do this? We like to find open doors on historic buildings and just sort of go in. And we did that to this one about 8 years ago. And we walked in the side door and walked around, and I immediately said, this place is a boutique hotel waiting to happen. And when we were standing, many years later, we're at the park, we looked up and said, we've got to turn that into a boutique hotel. So it took us a while, but we were able to acquire the building from a family that had owned it for, 40 years. And it had largely been vacant. You're going to see some pictures here, actually, that are signing behind me. You can see the condition it was in. Beautiful building. You can see all the some of the windows were broken. But once we started, this was built in 1891 by John T. Hinton, who was a Paris merchant. He was a prominent local businessman. This was his furniture company. So you could buy everything here from cribs to bedroom suits to caskets, because he also was an undertaker. We've got some great, we got some beautiful, actually handwritten receipts from the early 1900s of people buying cribs and caskets here that local folks have given to us. His legacy is still here today because Hinton Turner Funeral Home, which is right behind here, still family owned, although not part of his family anymore. So Mr. Hinton was an entrepreneur, and this was his furniture company. It operated as his furniture company until the 50s, and then another furniture company came in here, Century Furniture. My parents, who were graduated from high school in 1969, they bought their first, and they married in 1969, they bought their first piece of furniture here at Century Furniture. So you can see here, as people do, they get crazy and they do stupid stuff. They put in drop ceilings. They cover the facade. They put in ugly shag carpet. But once we ripped all of that out, we had the original building. So what you're going to see today, 90% is the original building. Original floors, which we redone. Look up, original tin ceilings on all 3 floors. The tin ceilings were on all 3 floors. When you go into the rooms, you will see each room has the original tin ceiling. The beautiful staircase out here. But once we started ripping out, we basically became, because it was built as a furniture company, what you're seeing is how people would have saw it in the 1800s. It was 3 floors of empty space supported by these columns. So because of the way the building was constructed, we have these load-bearing columns that we're able to have the entire floor. So once we ripped out, you can see there was the family, these were the old tableaus of the furniture company. So there was a living room, there was a dining room. Once we tore all those out, we had three nice floors. One of the great things is all the original windows were here. They had covered them up in the 1980s because the previous owners were worried about them falling out. So actually, they protected and saved the windows that we could then renovate. So most of the windows here still have their original glass. When you walk in the rooms, you'll see the wavy glass. Some we need to replace, but everything here is in its original form. This project took us about 2 years from the time we acquired it until we purchased it. And we actually purchased the building next door as well, which is now a food incubator and 3 apartments above. And we did that project first, and then we turned our attention to this project. So we have 19 hotel rooms here. We have an event center that you're in. If you're ever looking for an event, please look us up. We'd love to host you. We've had everything from weddings to celebrations. We're going to have the Belmont. We're going to watch the Belmont here on Saturday if you want to come back.
What time is it?
5 to 7 is 5 to 8 is our party. The Belmont, the post time is 7:05 actually. But when we planned this, we wanted to celebrate the equine legacy of Bourbon County. I mean, we have 90 horse farms here in Bourbon County. There's really only 3 counties that truly have the thoroughbred legacy. It's Bourbon, Woodford, and Fayette. Once you get out of those 3 counties, there are still farms, but those 3 counties really have the majority of the farms and the majority of there you can see what the building looked like. Yeah. We tore all that off. We literally cried when we saw the original cast iron facade under it. Thank goodness that was, there was crazy stuff in here.
Kids would have liked it.
Yeah, kids would have, it was sort of a circus in here. It took us 2 full months 2 full months just to physically get the stuff out from here to open them. So I'm going to take you on a tour. We'll probably maybe break up into groups, or maybe we can just go, or you can do a self-guided tour, because everything here celebrates the equine culture of Paris and Bourbon County in central Kentucky. So when you're walking through the hotel, anytime you see a brass plaque, that's something significant from the thoroughbred industry is there. And everything here was done by local artists. The furniture was made by Bourbon Millwork, 4 blocks from here. Bobby Shiflett's, all of his original photography is in the rooms, some of it 8 foot long and 4 foot tall. We feature artists, local artists, in our gift shop. We have a photography exhibit on the 2nd floor from Pat McDonough, who was retired from the Courier Journal, and it's his images at the backside of Churchill Downs during Derby Week that he's been shooting over 30 years. So everything inside the hotel celebrates the equine culture. I'm going to call out a couple things. The silks, I noticed everybody coming in and they immediately their eyes went to the silks. So Haviland Argo, wonderful, he was our architect, you all know Haviland. His vision here, what he was able to translate into this building is pretty remarkable. But he said, we need to get horse silks to hang in the lobby. And this was just how this project went. Things just sort of happened. It was amazing, like how things sort of, like there was sort of like an invisible hand moving around to make this project happen. Because I told Haviland, I was like, we can't afford silks. They're $300 a silk, you have to special order them. It's not like you can just go to Macy's and get a jockey silk. And suddenly one day a guy shows up and says, hey, I've got 30 or 40 jockey silks, would you like to buy them? At almost nothing, and we said yes. And then local farms started bringing jockey silks to us to hang. So you will see local farms hang the jockey silks. A family here in Paris purchased in 1989 the actual julep cups that were presented to Penny Chenery after Secretariat won the Triple Crown. You'll see 3 of them out there. They purchased them for their daughter in 1989 and put them in a bank vault where they had sat until 4 months ago when they donated them to the hotel. So you will see those. They bought them for their daughter, Margot Grace. And Margot worked in the thoroughbred industry, and they never told her that they purchased the cups. They were going to bequeath them to Margot at their death. Margot tragically died 2 years ago at 55, and the family was thinking, what do we do with the julep cups? And so they donated them to the hotel. So things like that have happened. The Hancock family brought us an old antique from the 1940s or 1930s, and you'll see it out there, a handmade horse racing thing that had been on their farm, if you all saw it. It's been on their farm for 40 years, for actually longer, actually for 40s. Their aunt had it, and they were like, we want people to see this, so we want to put it in the lobby of the hotel. So all these interesting things have happened.
Has that turned?
Yeah, it turned, yes, yeah. And you can see it, it's actually fun in there. So we've had a great time. I think what we've discovered is that when you have a vision, sometimes your gut just tells you it's the right vision. You know, it's just, I knew this was the right thing to do. And now customers are telling us it's the right thing to do because we're booked. We are fully booked. We have people from all over the country coming. We have people who are in the horse industry. We have people who love horses. And we have people who just need a night to stay. And they don't want to stay at a generic Best Western or a Marriott. They want something that's truly unique to our culture. So you're all going to see all of that today. We have 3 rooms open for you that you'll be able to walk through on the 2nd floor. But I would say just enjoy the ride. I'm happy to give a tour if you want, or if people just want to.
I think, folks, it's on the 2nd floor. Chris, you're going to be around to answer questions, so if you just want to mill around the hotel and explore.
Again, look, anytime you see a brass plate, there's something significant. And the most important thing, look at our derby wall. So we have a derby wall that's a tribute to all the horses from Bourbon County who won the Kentucky Derby. The first one was in 1878 with Fonzo. And the most recent one was 2026 with Golden Tempo, who just won the Derby. And what's interesting about that wall is the 16th pole you will see is actually from Churchill Downs. So every horse from 1970 until 2020 ran past that pole on his or her way to victory. When the track was renovated in 2020 because of COVID, they had to take all the poles down. And so we were fortunate enough to be able to get an original pole. So things like that have just happened to bring this hotel to life. And we're glad you're all here. The bar is open. Please have a look around. We'll have 3 rooms open on the 2nd floor, 201, 203, and 204. So
mount up!
right it's up! Yeah.
You know that way with your friends all the time.
My son's in Alabama. So I had my girlfriend met at the last minute.
Well,
And she set up schedule that you met. Like a hotel room, doesn't it? This is gorgeous. I'll take it. I got a big wall behind my yesterday. There's no place I want to go in Lexington, you know, that mine's a retirement home anyway, but it's big, but small.
I mean, that building has been vacant since 1970. I was born in 71, so it didn't have an iron, except for the iron rail. Yeah. Like 6 or 7 years was the iron rail.
How nice, right?
You recognize any of those names on those balls? Well, it was. Well, there's the, you know.
So I started out with a training race that had 51 days. I don't know what the budget is for us, but I'm asking for another partner. Right now, there's cuts and stuff that are going to get us. So it's. Yeah, no, we, I mean, very much. We're renting now, we're actually looking around and we're going to cover realization fees that we're not charging.
So there's like transportation, something.
Yeah, they're changing the funding model on that to try and get more because only like a small percentage of the art is sort of they're like
Couldn't want for anything more, could
and
you?
they're all, you know, Canadian arts, we've got more than indigenous artists, and then the public learning is books and libraries. So writers, readers, translators. It is, and I know how I got it. So I've been applying to government jobs and I did my resignation to we did 2 friends, Trish does contract work with the Arts Council. She met Peter who did every crisis together.
It's all about connection.
It's crazy, and she said, I don't know this person, but she comes from a good family, she's hardworking. Peter needed someone for 30.
Well, thank you all for tuning in for our June detour of Hotel Thoroughbred. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope that you come down to Paris and want to go join us in person and get to check out the hotel for yourself. And then we hope you'll join us July 8th for our detour of Integrity Architecture in downtown Lexington. Have a great June.